Welcome to our new series of live editing. We're going to be going through personal statements, life experiences, essays, experience details, supplementals, all the essays and things that you need for your PA school applications. I'm Savanna Perry. I'm a dermatology PA and creator of the PA platform, where I'm a pre-PA coach, and my team of coaches edits thousands of essays, and we want to help you. It'll be tough getting started. We see a lot of common mistakes, and while we love our live editing webinars that we do frequently, I thought this would be helpful just to go through some parts of essays and give you some insight into what we're looking for while we're editing. If you want help with editing, if you need your essays edited, all of that information will be in the description. And we really need a good name for this series. I haven't been able to come up with something yet. So if you have a good name suggestion, let me know. If we pick your name, we will give you a free essay edit. So let me know what we should call this series. Or if there are any other series you want to see, we're going to do another one with like applications. We would love your feedback on what would be helpful. We're here for you, and we want content and videos and everything we do to be something that's going to be helpful for you. If you have an essay you want to submit, all you have to do is go to the description, and we have a form that you can submit your essay. We'll change any identifying information, but if you want some feedback, want some advice, submit your essay and we'll get to as many as we can. We're excited to see your essays and share them with others. So for today's submission, this is a first-time applicant personal statement. They are not reapplying, and they said that their essay would be particularly helpful for people who are traditional applicants and people who have learned about the PA profession when they were younger, kind of in high school. This person says that they have an overall GPA of a 3.7, and they are applying for this upcoming cycle. So let's take a look at this essay and go through it together. One thing to keep in mind that I always look for first is the character count. So your essay has to be less than 5,000 characters, including spaces. You'll hear me say that probably in every single video, but if it is a little bit longer, or if you have a longer essay you'd like to submit, we can work on getting it down, and I'll show you some ways to cut characters. This one comes in just under that 5,000 characters. So let's start with this intro paragraph. I'm ready to take the next step in becoming a physician assistant PA by navigating the rigors of PA school. So interesting first sentence. I do love when an essay starts with physician assistant, or at least it's mentioned very early. I cannot believe it when I see this mistake in essays. When people do not mention PA until maybe the last sentence or the very end of their essay, that is not cool. That's not good. So you do want to mention PA early. Now, this is very early. This person has done this correctly by writing out physician assistant the first time and then putting it in parentheses. With any abbreviation, you want to approach it like that so that you're keeping in mind this is a formal essay. We're not assuming that the reader knows something that we don't, and we're just being professional in our essay writing. Now, I'm not sure where this is going. I'm ready to take the next step in becoming a physician assistant by navigating the rigors of PA school. Like, that's jumping right in, but I'll tell you, this statement doesn't really tell me much about that person. So I want to know if we're going to get more personal throughout this essay. Through goal setting, self-assessment, self-care, and seeking support, I've excelled in my health and exercise science studies. So I learned what their major is here. This is a long list. Generally, I want you to avoid lists. Lists are not our friend when it comes to personal statements. That is telling, that is not showing. I want you to show me things about yourself, show me these things versus just telling me about them. My coursework focused on clinical research, health behaviors, and physical health assessments in small groups. All right, do we see that list theme again here? I developed critical thinking and teamwork skills essential for quality patient-centered care. These are great qualities, but this is more telling and not showing. I'm reminded of a patient I shaved as a certified nursing assistant, so I learned what their experience was here, who brightened up when he saw himself in the mirror. As a future PA, I'm fully committed to ensuring patients in my community feel seen and supported through their health journeys. What brought me to this realization? Guys, please leave out what are these questions called? Rhetorical? I think it's a rhetorical question. Let's not include these type of rhetorical questions. I don't even know if this one's rhetorical, but there's just not space for it. This takes up space and doesn't tell me anything. I understand what this person's trying to do. They're trying to fit a lot into this intro here. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that they're pointing out these qualities and strengths, but this could be written about anyone. There is nothing personal here to connect me to the person who wrote it. Please keep in mind that your personal statement is your story. It's your chance to show who you are, what you bring to the table. And while you don't necessarily have to have this riveting, crazy story to be your intro, it should still be personal. So we'll see how the rest of the essay goes, but for right now, if I'm editing, I'm probably going to scrap a bunch of this and say, try to show me these things throughout your essay versus just stating and listing them here, because that's not especially helpful to me. I'm going to enter this down to make it look better. Actually, I may just do that with every paragraph. I think that will look better if I do that. My interest in medicine began after my mother's car accident, leaving her bedridden with broken feet and neck fractures. Wow. She kept a gold bell by her bedside, and when she rang it, I rushed to help. I saw the frustration on her face as she shared her worries about her injuries. At 7, I felt helpless knowing I could not offer the medical care she needed. This sparked my desire to take on responsibilities in patient-centered care, including diagnosing and treating medical conditions with compassion, as I did with my mom during her health journey. Okay, so this is getting a little bit more personal, which is what I'm looking for. And there's something really important that happens here. There's context of timing, and that's something I see left out of so many essays. So this at 7, when you're telling a story, a medical story, a personal experience, I want to know at what point in life you're experiencing that, because you're going to have a very different outlook and perspective and opinion at 7 versus at 13 or 20. So if you can provide that context, it will be extremely helpful to your reader to understanding where your mindset was at. Clearly at 7, this is going to be terrifying. A car accident, your mom's hurt, that's awful. Even at 20, that's awful. But at 7, you're very much unaware. I think that this is an accurate depiction of that age and the response. Now, I think it's a little bit of a stretch to say that at 7, because of this, you felt super strongly about going into medicine. I want to see how that develops from the mind and perspective of a 7-year-old into something that you grew more passionate and interested in later on. Okay, this is a long paragraph. So I separated the paragraphs out, and you can tell that this one's very, very long. After talking with a PA student, my brother Isaac suggested I look into the profession. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa. We just jumped a lot. We just had a huge jump in time. We went from 7 years old to, I don't really know how old, thinking about becoming a PA. I missed a lot there. So again, I'm looking for that progression of that experience sparked my interest and led me towards wanting to be a PA. It pushed me into medicine, made me consider things throughout middle school. I was still interested in this. In high school, wherever we're at with this point, I would want to know where we're at in time wise. Going in chronological order is fantastic, but I need to understand where we're going. As I researched healthcare careers, his suggestion led me to explore a career aligned with my values of human connection, diverse settings, and advocacy. There's another list. I would try to scale those back. I was drawn to its focus on expanding patient access, collaboration, and working across specialties. Another list, scale that back. Curious about the role, I scheduled an appointment with my family medicine PA, Courtney. So this is interesting. You found out about the profession, but then you scheduled an appointment. That's a little strange. Like, I do get that people will schedule appointments with PAs to meet them, but I don't know if I would say that in my essay unless you had something going on. Like you had a medical reason to go see her and you happened to talk to her about her profession. Feels a little strange. She greeted me warmly. Our conversation about my hobbies made the visit feel unhurried while she performed my physical exam. Her kindness inspired me to pursue the PA profession, dedicated to forming connections with patients to ensure a welcoming environment. Despite COVID-19 isolation challenges, her advice to gain patient care experience pushed me to earn my nursing assistant certification in high school. Okay, so that gives me some context of timing. As a CNA, we're right here. I honed my listening and communication skills while supporting vulnerable patients with their personal needs. Though I enjoyed the intimate nature of this work, I felt limited by the inability to make clinical decisions. Okay, I do want to know how you feel limited in your current role. My PA education will equip me to meet the medical needs of patients across diverse populations and specialties of my interest. I actually really like that phrasing and sentence. So here's a couple of thoughts. Going back, I think I understand where we're going. We're showing how we found out about the PA profession and exposure to PAs. I would just maybe do it in a way that's a little bit different. I would add more context of timing up here and try to have better transitions between what we're talking about. That first paragraph still doesn't really feel necessary to me. I would just jump into your experience and maybe add one sentence about how that led you to PA in summary before you go into the rest of your essay. As we get into this, I love that you got your CNA license in high school or certification. That's fantastic. Shows that you were thinking beyond many people's years with doing that. Let's keep going. I'm interested to see. So we know you're in high school with your CNA license. I shadowed Maida, a PA in family medicine with emergency medicine experience, and was impressed by her broad medical knowledge, trust she built with patients, and team collaboration. This is a good place to show versus tell if possible. Maida engaged in conversations about her patients' lives beyond medicine. I observed her prescribe medications, interpret lab results, and patiently educate an elderly patient who brought in a list of questions he could not remember. I got tripped up on the list. She worked with her collaborating physician. Perfection. Collaborating physician is what we want to say, not supervising. I do want to know about this teamwork, so that's important to note. Great job. To develop a treatment plan for unusual cases and expanded the availability of appointments, seeing patients independently. Wait. She worked with her collaborating physician to develop a treatment plan for unusual cases and expanded the availability of patients. That sentence is confusing to me. Like, this would have a note in my edits of like, this sentence is confusing to me. And then usually I'll say like simplify or take out. One day when I felt unwell, she quickly realized my symptoms, sweating, dizziness, and blurred vision, offered me her seat, and gave me applesauce. Wait, the PA? I felt better as I ate. She explained my symptoms were similar to low blood sugar and made sure I was okay to continue shadowing. The immediate care I received, witnessing the team-based approach and health advocacy, deepened my desire to become a PA who builds strong relationships and increases patient access. Okay, so this is interesting. This is an interesting perspective because technically, like, you're not her patient. Like, so if you're talking about shadowing or patient care experience, whatever you're talking about, volunteering, I want the lesson or what you're talking about or the points you're making to be relevant to that experience. If you're talking about shadowing and seeing her with patients, but then you're saying she treated you, but you weren't really her patient, I'd probably cut that. That's not the angle I would take. I would try to do it in a way that's more like, this is what I saw her do with patients. I saw her see this patient. She wasn't sure what was going on. She talked to her collaborating physician. Together they came up with a plan, blah, blah, blah. And then take it that route instead of bringing the focus to you in that situation. At the community care center where I volunteer as a triage assistant, assessing patients' reasons for visit, so you can take this comment. I primarily work with uninsured Hispanic patients who prefer to communicate in their native language. Through my education and self-learning, I can converse basic medical Spanish. I think should be an N there. Watching their faces light up when I spoke their language and seeing patients with volunteer interpreters readily available during their visits has been rewarding. I have learned the importance of inclusivity and cultural humility in improving patient-provider relationships. As a future PA, I intend to help bridge the communication gap and reduce disparities in minoritized populations by expanding access to care. That's a mouthful. That's a lot. Okay, a couple things here. This would be a perfect experience details description for that experience. And I can see how it fits in your personal statement, but I feel like it might fit better there. And I could use more explanation here about what has brought you to PA. This paragraph points out something very important, which is staying in the same tense, whether it's in your essay or your experience details, because this person says, I volunteer. So that tells me that they currently volunteer. They currently work with these people in this clinic. But over here, it says watching their faces live when I spoke their language, and that's in past tense. So we have both present tense and past tense talking about the same experience in the same paragraph, and that is confusing. Keep in mind that your readers are reading hundreds of essays, and the easier you make it for them, like the easier to read, the better. So this would need to be watching their faces light up when I speak their language, and seeing patients with volunteer has been rewarding. I've learned. So yeah, so that's really the only area that needs to be changed primarily there. All right. During a shift as a CNA, I once spent 30 minutes shaving my patient's beard while listening to his concerns about being discharged to a rehabilitation facility. He wanted to look his best and was anxious about the transition. Recognizing how daunting the situation felt for him, I reassured him our team was working to ensure a smooth discharge. His demeanor shifted from worry to relief. I gained a clearer insight. Care is multidimensional, supporting both physical and emotional needs. This experience reinforced my desire to pursue a career as a PA focused on holistic care where the person, not just the patient, is prioritized. Through my work as a CNA, shadowing, and academics, I realized becoming a PA is the path I'm meant to take. And that's the end. So that is the conclusion. Okay. So I wonder if this is the same, like we talked about shaving a patient earlier as a CNA. I don't know if this is the same experience or not. But I appreciate that the person is showing with more examples and stories and showing their empathy and their involvement with the patient. So that's very nice. I think this statement here does show understanding and more maturity than I've seen in the rest of the essay. But for a conclusion, I want more and I want to focus on you, on the writer. I want to know your strengths and what you bring to the PA profession and what you are going to bring to PA school. If we think about what this statement has, it has a discussion of the person's experience. We know that they were a CNA. It has some volunteer experience. We've learned that as well. It has a discussion of how they found out about the PA profession. If we're talking about what it doesn't have a strong conclusion. I think the intro could be reworked to be stronger. I think right now it's too general and it's not going to grab that reader as much as just jumping into the personal stuff would. There's no mention of academics. Although we know that this person has a 3.7 GPA, which is fantastic. I would mention that, especially as someone who is more of a traditional student going straight from undergrad. I think it's important to emphasize a higher GPA and showing that they've worked and done these things all at the same time. You can't assume that whoever is looking at your essay also has or is looking at your application. A CASPA application is typically 30 plus pages, and so they're not likely flipping back through to piece your timeline together. You have to provide that context. So in this statement, I think we need to work on getting even more personal, more showing, less telling, and continuing to really dive in. And this may take some self reflection into YPA. I also don't know if I can say 100% why this person is choosing the PA profession when a lot of the things they mentioned could be done in other professions. So that's going to come more from more of that explanation of what they've seen with PAs, either personally shadowing, working with PAs, using those examples to show that and show why they feel limited, but also why they feel that PA is the best fit for them. Woo, that was a lot for our first one. If you would like to submit your essay, you can submit it to the form. But thank you for watching. I hope that was helpful. If you have any thoughts or questions about this essay, feel free to comment and make sure you like and subscribe and follow so that you get more of the videos that we post like this. And let us know how we can help you at the PA platform. If you need help with essay editing, please feel free to reach out. The PA School Personal Statement Guide, you can find this on Amazon, and it has a lot of examples, some worksheets, everything you need to work through the process. And then we have our free 2-week personal statement course. So if you've not started your essay yet and you're feeling writer's block, the personal statement email course is for you. Every day for 2 weeks, you get an email that helps you get a first draft of your essay complete and get you on the right track. Thanks for watching. Bye.